And you're listening to the Dr. Sky Experience, heard proudly across the nation, around the world, and I'm sure out to the cosmos, on Talk Radio 77 WABC, the iconic Talk Radio 77 WABC, as we begin another journey into the story of what's above us in our night skies from the great realms of astronomy, space, aviation, and weather, and so much more, included in our discussions with you, the great listening audience of this amazing radio station, are subject matters that relate to American exceptionalism about truth, justice, and the American way. And we begin, of course, with the great solar storm of 2024, at least so far, over the weekend of May 10th. And if you're within the sound of my voice and you look north in the skies, anywhere from the northern latitudes of the United States, even down to areas as low latitudes as Mexico, Florida, Key West, Florida to be precise, and Puerto Rico. Observers got to see the most amazing sights in the skies. Beautiful colors, rays of arc of light. And by the way, did you know that auroras, which come in the colors of red, green, purple, and blue, are caused by different elements up in the atmosphere? When the large solar proton storms breaks a hole in the Earth's magnetosphere, it indeed goes directly toward the poles, the weakest link in the chain. Red auroras are atomic oxygen, and they're usually above 150 miles in space. Imagine the view that the International Space Station gets. They're about 260 miles above the Earth. And then looking back down with those great cameras and the human eye, that sight must literally be, of course, out of this world. But green auroras are also produced by atomic oxygen, but they're lower in the atmosphere, maybe upwards, and up to, I should say, 150 miles above the Earth. But what about those elusive colors like purples and blues that many of you got to see? Well, simply it's ionized nitrogen. Blue auroras are above 60 miles up in space, and by the way, that's the marcation line or demarcation line where space usually begins. It's called the Kármán line, somewhere around 60 miles. And if you got to see this most amazing color, the healing color purple, they're also due to ionized nitrogen, and they are literally below that of 60 miles up in the atmosphere. And remember, think about this. The Earth's atmosphere is so precious, that troposphere, the weather sphere, that if the analogy were that the Earth were an apple, and this is no joke, we didn't make it up, the thickness or thinness, I should say, of the atmosphere is like that of the skin on an apple. Quite amazing. So what other things can we see during the month of May? And again, we'll talk a little bit more about the great solar storm in just a moment. But the moon moves on to its first quarter phase. That is on the 15th. And I believe, as Dr. Sky, that this is probably one of the best examples. If you're out there with, say, children, adults, seniors, and you want to get to experience the beauty of Earth's nearest neighbor, the moon, why do I say first quarter is usually a good time? Because it's in the evening. You don't have to get up during the wee hours of the morning or stay up when a last quarter moon happens during the waning cycle. Why do I mention it's really important? And, more than likely, outstanding. Take a pair of binoculars and scan along the light and dark line on the surface of the moon that you see. And that, of course, is known as the terminator. Great shadow relief is exhibited. And if you have a telescope, and I'm sure somebody out there within the sound of this particular program, you know all too well that that is literally spectacular. The great shadows that are cast over the lunar mare, the ancient seas that they thought were filled with water, and the mountains on the moon that are literally, get a load of this, even higher than Mount Everest in some areas on the lunar surface. The lunar mountains can range upwards of about to 35,000 feet or more. That's amazing. But we find out that the planetary lineup is pretty poor for the month of May, at least from mid-May on. Most of the planets are, of course, in the morning sky. We lose great Zeus, Jupiter, as it moves into conjunction with the sun on the 18th. And then we all get set up for the most spectacular moons, that is the beautiful full flower moon, as that takes place on the 23rd at 9:53 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And as we do more on the Dr. Sky updates here with the Dr. Sky Experience, we'll be talking with you about, of course, ways to capture these sights, the amazing things in our skies. As Dr. Sky always reminds you, always remember to keep your eyes to the skies. And also, I'd like to remind you here on this great radio station, Talk Radio 77 WABC, you can stay in touch with me not only by going to WABCRadio.com, which you've done for the Dr. Sky Experience, but on each week, every Sunday morning with owner and operator John Katzimatidis on a show that goes worldwide and it goes viral. And so many great guests, and I'm so privileged to be one of them as we talk on the Cats Roundtable. And then every other Wednesday at 1 a.m., you have to listen to one of those 1 a.m. segments. Frank Morano in the great program called The Other Side of Midnight. He and I work together to do a program that many of you love out there and appreciate the commentaries and emails. That is Cosmic Conversations with me, Dr. Sky. Emails, if you'd like to send me one, is drskyshow@gmail.com. And finally, concluding with information about the great solar storm of May 2024. Right now, active region 3664 is moving to the right side of the sun, the western limb. It'll go around the sun. Remember, the sun rotates near the equator every 25 days. So people thinking smart out there, and you are, you may wonder, when will it return if it does survive going around the back side or the far side of the sun, only to pop up again on the eastern side of the sun and maybe give us round two of this most amazing solar disturbance and event in space weather. Well, the best predictions are, if it survives, it may come around the eastern edge of the sun, the left edge, by around the 27th or 28th of May, so we'll keep you posted on that. So now, some quick updates. If you live in higher latitudes, you already know that the auroras are visible. Your great pictures out there are really so amazing. But for everybody else who has, within the sound of my voice, a smartphone, and who doesn't, here's some tips on how to take pictures of those particular events, the elusive aurora borealis, or if you're in the southern hemisphere, quite the opposite, aurora australis. Take your phone, whether it's Android or iPhone or whatever you have, and try to set the camera on an exposure of at least 3 seconds or so. And remember, these pixelated cameras today pick up way more than the eye. And many people have said, well, I got to look at the auroras or tried to look at the auroras and I didn't see anything. But when I took a picture of the sky in the north, let's say, in the northern hemisphere, I got to see this amazing red and green. Well, your eye sensitivity is nothing like that of a camera, especially with high pixels. So a 3-second exposure, put it on a tripod or one of those adapters to hold it if you can. But if not, just enjoy the beauty of the nighttime sky as you look skyward. As we talk here on the Dr. Sky Experience about all these things that we've talked about. From asteroids, comets, and so many other things. Eclipses. Remember the great eclipse of April the 8th. Many of you saw it as partial. Many of you, like myself, were in the path of the darkness of the moon, albeit we were down and asked to be a speaker at the Great Tex Clips Music Festival in Junction, Texas. Unfortunately, our weather was less than perfect, but the crowds were cheering as the moon, of course, moved across the sun, a most amazing sight in the sky. Until next time, we, of course, want to hear from you. DrSkyShow@gmail.com, questions and comments. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to me on the Dr. Sky Experience. And thank you to owner and operator John Katzimatidis and family for having the confidence to put this particular program here so everybody can listen to some amazing things that happen above us. As we know, the world is problematic right now with so many things in the world of political stuff and world events, and rightfully so. They do a great job of reporting on that. But we kind of calm down and we look skyward. And remember when we were children, the nights that we were at summer camp, let's say, or seniors, or anybody who, of course, thinks back in time when they looked at the nighttime sky and wondered, what's out there? Who created it? Where are we in this cosmos? As Carl Sagan said once, and I quote, "The Earth is the pale blue dot." Clear skies, I'm your navigator on the highway to the heavens as we continue with the Dr. Sky Experience, talking about these great realms. And interlaced in this program, as a proud U.S. military veteran myself, and many of you out there, we salute you and the wives of the veterans, and all of you who service and work, that is, in service-related type of occupations like police, law enforcement, and first responders. We got your ear here, because it's all about America and how to keep us safe and how to keep us strong in these very troubling times. But better than that, what could be better than that? Looking skyward to calm us down and expand our minds, which is what we do here on this particular archive. Once again, emails, DrSkyShow@gmail.com if you'd like to learn much more about these events and many of your questions. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, always remember to keep your eyes to the skies.